That's where we start to get into this era that I definitely wanted to talk about. It became a haven for musicians all over the place to come in and put on concerts.
Well, that developed out of Jimmy Du Bois. He had a nonprofit, Society of Universal Culture Arts. It covered so many areas of the music because of having to try to incorporate, when he was in Pittsburgh, he tried to incorporate the Black Musicians Union and,
Yes.
and all the regular unions, and so it was part of the collaboration. And he was involved with all of that, but he also ran a center there. And when he left there, he brought the concept here. So all the guys, when you talk about the loft jazz time, which people aren't aware of what it really means. He was like a general in terms of direction because he had information that he passed on to us younger cats, that were eager.
Yeah, well, can you go into that a little bit more?
I can go into it because just after Jimmy's death, Jimi Hendrix's death, Ollie and I moved down there to New York, and we went to Studio We, and we brought with us a recording facility.
Yes.
And what we started doing was recording many unknown jazz artists from our studio, which was about this size, and also location. But that all started here in upstate New York. We formed the Aboriginal Music Society,
Right.
and it was a concept of musicians coming together. Now, when people think about it, it wasn't just about a musical group. Part of the entity was a musical group. So when you say go into it, there's so many stories to be told because it's patterned after many organizations that preceded it for self-determination and artists wanting to control of their own music and their own career, other than the 37% and all the other things that were offered, which were not formidable at that time because most of the guys kept two sets of books, one for you and one for me,
Right, exactly.
type situations.
And it was establishing that independence.
That's what that whole movement was about. And it was also tied into, from years before, from the civil rights struggle. Because everybody say, pull yourself up from your bootstrap, and you're barefooted still. Because there was never an opportunity. So people are trying to figure out how they can manage, the artists, manage their own career and survive and sustain themselves to where they can take care of the family. And because of the system, they cherry pick, and they divide and conquer. See, if you come up with a group and it's really there, they'll take the one person and they'll separate you and they put the images out. So we were talking about, just like now, the unknown. So most of the artists that we were talking about, and most of the artists I have archives on and history are unknown, but they've always been in the background in support. A few, like just off the top of my head, came Frank Foster. For many years he was here producing, and then they call him in Hollywood for score. And people lose their own thing. You can look at just great masters like Ray Brown, but there's so many people that are been pulled into the forefront, but there's so many musicians that have always been foundational in Stepping Stone. So when you talk about Studio we're talking about musicians that not only could have commercial viability, but never are given the opportunity of exposure.